Well, once again, here we go. People are saying that Brother Zion Lexx set up Professor James Smalls. Professor, mind you, James Smalls was not prepared. Let me repeat myself. Professor James Smalls, 70 plus years old, was not prepared to debate Zion Lexx. In fact, Zion Lexx is not qualified to debate him. Yet Professor Smalls goes on to say in that same dialogue that Zion is in fact a scholar of the Hebrew tradition, while he is no scholar of the Kemetic tradition. He also states that Zion can teach in any university around the globe, yet Zion is unqualified to debate him. That is highly arrogant. People, look at the picture before you. The night before my sit down with Professor Smalls, I had to watch a live stream from Sarnetta, which states, as you can see, Professor James Smalls versus Zion Lexx. Please tell me how I set him up. The night before, Sarnetta goes on to state that Professor Smalls is not coming here to play with Zion Lexx. Professor Smalls is coming here to deal with Zion Lexx. The title of the live stream the night before our sit down is Professor James Smalls versus Zion Lexx. I didn't write that. Sarnetta did. He also goes on to state that Professor Smalls is not coming to play with Zion Lexx. So are y'all then mad that I came prepared? I don't think so. Should I feel bad that y'all are saying that I set him up? No, I should feel insulted. I'm the one that feels set up. The night before, it was told to me Professor James Smalls is going to be versing Zion Lexx. The night before, it was told to me Professor Smalls is not coming to play with Zion Lexx. Until Professor Smalls got to taste a little bit of how Zion Lexx get down scholastically. The story then changes.
I'm not going to be long, but they always say, we got to be strong. So in any event, this is just a little update for y'all. Tomorrow at 12 o'clock sharp, tomorrow at 12 o'clock sharp, you ready for this? They tell you to be careful what you ask for. Professor James Smalls have agreed to sit down with Zion Lexx. See, I'm not the one that called this. Don't say Sarnetta, you wrong. Why did you get the elderly? Sarnetta ain't got nothing to do with that. I am just the media outlet. That's all I'm here to do, is just give you the information. Professor James Smalls is not coming to play with the young brother. He's going to be respectful. I guarantee you, after tomorrow, Zion is going to wish he never called out Professor Smalls to sit down with him. Now, this is what I said to Shaka Utmost, to my brother Reggie, to all the brothers that's not really Reggie, because Reggie holds it down. Reggie comes out and he do what he do. But really, Shaka, playing games all the goddamn time. Professor Smalls wouldn't have to step up and take on a brother like Zion if they was supposed to do what they supposed to do.
Because the information that they got, all that information that the Hebrews got, all those laws comes out of Kemet. And I thought that Shaka in the discussion did a fairly good job. He could have done a better job had he worked on it, but he did a fairly good job to show that. I thought that Zion did a poor job to show the opposite. But you and Shaka, Shaka has his delivery methodology. You have yours. Both of you presented a body of facts that was extraordinary. That was a lot of information. Matter of fact, it was too much information. Okay. I don't care that much for the concept of academy, because they don't set the standards. But I said that as regards these institutions do exist. I taught in them with only a bachelor's degree as a full-time professor's load. And so watching your skills, putting together your body of information, presenting it, you could do that as well as any people who call themselves a professor. And I still say that. That was a good job. That don't endorse that everything you said I agreed with, because some things I didn't agree with, but I wasn't there to agree or disagree. I was there to moderate the two of you. Y'all were battling it out. But the way both of you presented your information, your body of information, was good.
Well, What do we have here? We have Professor Smalls in one instance calling the scholarship of Zion Lexx poor, while Zion Lexx is not there. While when Zion Lexx actually had his dialogue/debate with Shaka Amos, during that debate, the professor said Zion can speak at any university throughout the world, even as the professor has confirmed in the videos that you just watched. The professor even said most recently that he will not take that statement back. He still means it, because Zion can teach just like anyone calling himself a professor in a university to this day. So I ask you the question: how do we look at the elder with the same glory, respect, and honor when he can in one instance lie on camera and call Zion Lexx's scholarship poor, and then in the face of Zion Lexx he can tell him 2 times at 2 different events the same thing? Zion Lexx, you have high scholarship. You could speak at any university throughout the globe. So I apologize to the conscious so-called Kemetic community if I do not see the professor as you do. What I see is truth and those who align with it. An elder is one thing, but being honorable and being truthful is a whole completely different paradigm. And that is what I respect.
But you and Shaka, Shaka has his delivery methodology. You have yours. Both of you presented a body of facts that was extraordinary. That was a lot of information. Matter of fact, it was too much information. All of the gods of Egypt is already there. That means Ma'at existed, Medunetta existed, the pyramid text existed, the Book of Come. All these things exist before there's a Hebrew tradition. The question is, why did that tradition arise? And I don't hear a lot of discussion about that. What was the need for that tradition to arise? What was happening in that environment at that time in history, in that geographical location, that necessitated something to occur that we now refer to as the birth of the Hebrew Israelite tradition? That's a question I'm posing, because I never hear that question being discussed.
All right, so let me first rebuttal by stating let me first respond by stating in reverse order, going over some of the things that you last said. I'm a very meticulous person, so I want to go back to exactly what I said. The nation of Israel, according to our sages, was birthed in Kemet, the nation. Hebrews actually precede Kemet, according to our literature. In our literature, we state that our forefather Abraham came out of Sumer. I've heard you say on video that the oldest literature, which is why I asked you the question initially, I heard you say when you sat with Brother Reggie about a full year ago, you were dressed in white garb and you were on this side and Reggie was on that side. You were showing a slide. The slide included Shabaka. It included Terhaka. You spoke about Aksum and them having the Ark of the Covenant. As well as you spoke about the very first literature that we know and can attest to coming out of Kemet. And you began therein, and we can certainly share it again, you began with the pyramid text of Unis, like you said earlier. The pyramid text of Unis is dated to the 5th dynasty of Kemet, which the consensus is this is around circa 2300 BCE. I'm stating the consensus. If I'm way off, there's absolutely an ample time for you to come and respond and attest to it, with an artifact.
No. Let me tell you something. I'm not here to debate you. You don't qualify to debate me. Don't do that.
Well,
if you here to share some information.
I don't see why you feel disrespected, because I'm just simply asking you a question. You seem to, because your entire body language changed. I just asked you a question, Professor.
I told you I don't engage in the level of.
Why are you upset? That's what I'm just trying to figure out.
Don't play with me.
All right. You seem to be upset, Professor.
Yeah, I'm upset because you're playing with me. You play with somebody you're equal. You don't play with me, your elder. No, I said you're playing with me. No, you're not asking me a question. No, you're going back over something I said when I was with Brother Reggie doing a talk. You came here to refute me. Why didn't you tell me that when you called me? Then I would come prepared to deal with you at that level. No, let me finish. You didn't tell me you wanted to refute things I had to say, because then I would spend a little time studying. And even though I was out on an emergency for the last 48 hours, I would have still made a little more time to go over those same things so I can have the same information you have. So you've got a point to make, and I'm willing to listen to those points, because I told you I'm not a scholar on the Hebrew tradition.
Yes, Professor Smalls, if there's one thing that I know, is that you are not a scholar of the Hebrew tradition. And I'm glad that you confirmed for us that you are also not a scholar of the Kemetic tradition. So at this point, my only question to you would be, Professor Smalls, how dare you go on camera and make bold claims that the Hebrew language comes out of Medu Neter, when you also state on camera that you neither read Hebrew nor Medu Neter? Absolutely insane. How do you also go on camera, Professor Smalls, and state that the Hebrew culture comes out of the Kemetic culture, yet you also go on camera stating that you are not a scholar of either culture? If you are no scholar of either culture, how do you speak so authoritatively about it? If you are no scholar of either culture, how do you get upset when I state to you that I understand my culture and I can date it based on academia, based on my scholarship, and you have the nerve to tell me that I'm unqualified to rebut or debate you simply because you're an elder? Let me remind you of something, Professor James Smalls. In the scholastic halls, eldership and youth certainly have their places. But when it comes down to the tests, the proof is always in the pudding, and that is measured by what you know. And if you can say that I'm the authority on the Hebrew tradition, and if you can call me a scholar, and if you can state that I can teach anywhere around the globe, I think you're the one that's in the wrong.
Atomically, Socrates' philosophies and hypotheses can't define how I be dropping these mockeries. Lyrically perform armed robbery, flee with the lottery. Possibly they spotted me. Battle scarred shogun, explosion when my pen hits tremendous. Ultraviolet shine blind forensics.